I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan. Your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour. Take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder. Work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all wanna ring, yeah, we all wanna be free. So show me what you got, what you bring, how you fight in the ring, how you take a fucking swing. Do you got heart, are you mean? Got some scars, got some needs, are you willing to go bleed? I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, Oiler Nation, the Edmonton Oilers defeat the Vancouver Canucks in the Pacific Division Final and have advanced to the Western Conference Final, which starts in an hour. Now, I know that's a little bit of old news, but wow. This is my first time coming on since then. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. You think about this. Think about the season that the Oilers had. Just put it into perspective. How they were not even going to be making the playoffs. Like, I counted them out in November. And here we are. We're one of the final four teams. And not only that, we defeated a team that swept us in the season series. Huge, huge. Now, I'm aware, unfortunately, Brock Besser was hurt, or not hurt, but was dealing with blood clot issues. And now there's reports coming out that he claims that he took a block shot in game one and that caused the blood clotting. I wonder if it was a boost bomb that caused it, to be honest with you. Maybe we can recoin if it turns out that way, maybe we can recoin that shot to the boost blood clotter. Because wow, his. And I don't mean that as a real poor joke towards the Vancouver Canucks. They played their asses off. They played amazing. The one thing I noticed out of that game is the Oilers were like a boa constrictor. They just constricted the life out of the Canucks. They got a little bit of life in the third period and nearly tied it. And that's where we're going to need Stuart Skinner to be a little bit better than that. Actually, quite a bit better. Not a little bit better, quite a bit better going into this series. Because the other guy on the other side of the net, or the other side of the ice, is a guy by the name of Jake Ozinger, who I believe is right now second to Shesterkin in active goaltenders that are currently in the playoffs. So he's no chum, and they're deep. Dallas is deep. Very, very deep. So if someone gets hurt, another guy can fill in. And they're strong. Like, you got Tyler Seguin on the third line with Jamie Benn. Like, that's how strong they are. Those guys were the elite Dallas Star players a few years ago. So this is going to be huge. This is going to be a very huge series. I'm hoping for the best outcome. I'm happy I was able to get most of my graphics done because I got home. I had to rush to my courier to get my second flag for my car. And then I came up here. I had to organize the graphics real quick. Quick shower. Like, it's been kind of a rush day for me to get this going for 4:30. I was almost that close saying, you know what, let's punch it in for 5 o'clock. But I want to be ready and ready to watch the pregame and all that for 5 o'clock. So let's get into this. We're going to talk about the Oilers and Canucks game 7 recap. Break down the scoring summary, all the stats of that game. We're also going to get a look at the Western Conference Final preview. That's right. The two teams, I'm going to give you some notable facts about each other. I got a new poll coming up and some results. Also, the game 1 preview, which is essentially the lines that they're going to be going with and rolling out for this game. And then the current league leaders up to date as of yesterday, as there has been a little bit of changes. Names like Verhaeghe and Tkachuk are now on the board in that. Then we'll get into final thoughts, any of your questions or comments, and I will display them on there. Let's dive into this, guys. It was a crazy game, and it could have been very much different if they had Brock Besser in the lineup. And unfortunately, he was dealing with the blood clot, but he was a huge piece out of their lineup, and they were still able to keep this game relatively close. Okay, so my graphic is a little bit high up there, but it was a 3-2 final in Vancouver. It's the first time in the series that a team took 2 in a row. So that turned out very good for the Edmonton faithful, as the Edmonton Oilers would win in Edmonton in Game 6 and then dug down deep and won Game 7. And here we are today as they are about to embark on Game 1, the Western Conference Final against Dallas at the American Airlines Arena in Dallas, Texas. It all started off in the first period. Actually, no, nothing in the first period. There was no goals in the first period. It was a very tight played game. More so on the Edmonton Oilers. Like I said, when I thought of this game, I thought of a boa constrictor. So the first period would end 0-0, no goals scored. In the second period is where it would start, when it would be Cody Ceci, out of all players on the Edmonton Oilers, getting a clutch playoff goal. This is his second playoff goal from Brett Kulik and Dylan Holloway. 1-0, the Edmonton Oilers. Then the Oilers would make it 2-0 later in that second period at 5:50. Zach Hyman getting his 11th from Evan Bouchard and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And the Oilers would make it 3-0 in the second period as well at 15:22. And that would be all the scoring the Oilers would need. And that's pretty good because that's all they would get, as Vancouver would find a way to crack the penetrating wall that was of the Edmonton Oilers, and would get a goal from Connor Garland unassisted at 11:27. So for 50 minutes of this game, the Edmonton Oilers wall was invincible. And when they let up a little bit, things got very interesting, because then the Vancouver Canucks would make it 3-2 with 4.5 minutes left to play. This would be Philip Hronek from Quinn Hughes and Elias Lindholm. And it's getting interesting and a little nerve-wracking. And it was close. I believe there was even a goalpost that was after that. But that's all the Canucks would be able to muster up. The Edmonton Oilers would take the series 4-3 in Game 7 and would advance on to play the Dallas Stars, who notably have taken out the last 2 Stanley Cup champions. So I know Dallas is going to be a lot of work cut out for the Edmonton Oilers. And I have good expectations for the Oilers, but I have realistic expectations. They took out Colorado, who won the Cup 2 years ago. They took out Vegas, who won the Cup last year. They're strong. They're deep. They got lots of talent on that team. But anyway, getting back to the Vancouver Canucks game for the statistical breakdown. With shots on goal, it was 29-17. The Oilers definitely were peppering the Canucks there. 28-20 were the hits, and that was actually for the Canucks. So the Canucks had some of the statistical attributes and did play as strong of a game as you could ask for. Tokic, I'm pretty sure, was proud of his boys despite the result. Face-off win percentage. Canucks owned the Oilers this whole series with the face-off wins. I don't think there was one single game that the Edmonton Oilers won the face-off percentage in this. For whatever reason, the Canucks are extremely good on the dot. And those of you who wonder, well, what's the big deal about that stat? Well, if you win the face-off, you're going to have possession. You got the other team chasing you. The other team is going to wear out. So it's a huge thing to be strong on the face-off dot. The power play, the Oilers were 1 for 2 for 50%, so that's all right. And the penalty kill shined as well for being 3 for 3. So that horn is actually a combined one for both, or for the special teams in general, because they were 50% on the power play and 100% on the PK. So awesome work. Block shots 21-8. This I was very proud of the boys doing that. They basically everyone's blocking. Even Connor McDavid was blocking. Connor McDavid. But you know what? It was a total team effort, a total unified effort. And that's what makes the Oilers an extreme threat this year is the fact that everyone is pulling on the same rope. Save percentage. Shelov's still edged out Skinner, 897 to an 892. Again, we need Skinner better than what he's doing, and I think the Oilers have him on a very, very short leash. I think Knobloch knows that, you know what, if he has one bad game, he's going to have to run with Picard or call up Campbell, which who knows? Who knows if that happens, but we need Skinner to play better. He needs to be more on board because realistically, the shot count wasn't that much and it still was a close game. So, you know, I want to see. I know Skinner has it in him. I've seen him play some games this year that were absolutely amazing. And there was a good stretch, about a 2-week stretch that I had him in the star category. So, we just need him to step up when it counts the most, and that's in the playoffs. Okay. My first star for this game, I'm going to give this one to Evan Bouchard, who had 2 assists and 3 shots. Just an outstanding night for him in a tight game where everything was on the line. My second star, Dylan Holloway. This kid has proven to me that he is an Edmonton Oiler. 100%. I should get a jersey. Maybe for next season, I'll have a Holloway jersey. Who knows? One of the new Fanatics ones. I wonder how those Fanatics jerseys are going to look when they get enrolled next year. But that's a topic for another day. And my first star, I'm going to give this one to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. 1 goal, 1 assist, 3 block shots. Just a beast. He is the vet of this team. It was interesting watching Spitting Chicklets because Ryan Whitney did play with him when he was an Edmonton Oiler and remembers him quite fondly. And Ryan Whitney's been retired for several years, but he did get a chance to play with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and said quite a bit of fond things. So that leaves us to the Western Conference Final that begins in 45 minutes or a little bit over. I am so pumped for this series, and I'm just hoping that if the Oilers don't win this series, that they take it to the distance, take it to 6 or 7 games, and not get swept like they did 2 years ago against the Colorado Avalanche. That would absolutely suck. But I don't think they will. There's something about this team this year that, you know, I don't know if it was all from the Cupper bust comment that McDavid said, but this year is just, it's bizarre. It's a bizarre year. I've never experienced an Edmonton Oilers season or any NHL season for that matter like this. And it just happens to be that this is my team. So, yeah, what a year. I probably will do, because normally I just do the last episode after they lose and I wrap it up and I'm back in September. But I'm really debating, and I probably will do a year in review because it was that crazy a few weeks after the final episode, and which hopefully is after they win the Stanley Cup. But anyway, I'm rambling on again. Yeah, let's get into the Western Conference preview between the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars. A few notes that I took down and then a few hybrid notes that I took off the internet, but let's just get into it. So the first thing of note is the Oilers and Stars have met 3 times this season. Stars winning 2 out of the 3 and outscoring the Oilers 12-7. No biggie. I mean, the Oilers also played the Canucks and lost every single game of that series, and we know how that ended. Okay, but this is just the warm-up. The other one is both teams were heavily invested in acquiring Chris Tanev from the Calgary Flames. However, we know how that ended, and the Dallas Stars got a little bit deeper by having him on the team. It was actually I believe Vancouver was also involved in that too. Oilers were able to take out the Vancouver Canucks, who swept the Oilers in the season series in Game 7. However, the Stars knocked off the last two Stanley Cup champions in Vegas and Colorado. I mentioned that earlier. That's huge. What kind of confidence does that do for you when you can say, hey, we popped out those guys and we popped out those guys? And they both have Stanley Cups in the last 2 years. That's a big, huge accomplishment. Dallas have a record of 27 wins and 15 losses versus the Oilers in 6 series to the Edmonton Oilers since 1983-84. 6 series they've won to Edmonton's 2. Sorry, I read that wrong. 6 series the Dallas Stars have defeated us 6 times to Edmonton's 2. And unfortunately, guys, I remember those years, man. They were heartbreaking. They were heartbreaking years every year. It got to a point for me as an Edmonton Oilers fan in the early 2000s or late 1990s. I don't know exactly the time frame, but it got to a point that I actually, at one point in time, I hated the Dallas Stars more than the Calgary Flames. And you know what that's like for an Edmonton fan. We don't care for the Calgary Flames. They don't care for us. Both teams have more respect for the Vancouver Canucks, even though that's a rival too. But because we're our Alberta rivals and CFL rivals with the Stampeders and what was the Eskimos at that time, now it's the Elks. There's always been that Battle of Alberta rivalry. And in the 80s, it took a different measure. Like, a lot of you young guys weren't probably around during some of that stuff, but the fights that happened, the stuff that would happen to Gretzky was always answered, right? Where today you can't really answer it, or you're going to get the instigator and put your team down onto a power play, which gives the opponent who caused or opponent who started the trouble gives them an advantage, and it kind of sucks. But in the 80s, the game I thought was policed a little bit more better by the players, because if you did something to Gretzky, you're going to have to ring the bell against Semenko. Whereas now, you do something to McDavid, yeah, Nurse can step up and start getting a fight, but you're probably going to get also a 2-minute minor and put your team down. And yeah, so that's one of the things that I kind of don't like, that instigator rule, because it did protect your superstars. Last and but not least, Jake Oettinger. Now, this is a huge one. Ranks 5th in this year's playoffs with a 918, and only Shesterkin is in front of him of active goalies, because honestly, there is a few goalies that are ahead with a save percentage if you look on this on this year's stats, but some of them were eliminated in the first round, and that's just where their save percentage froze at, which is not very fair considering they played 3 games, 2 games. These guys are already into potentially starting their 9th game tonight, 10th game tonight. So when you're playing more games, obviously there's going to be more of a balance. So my point being is, when I did my stats, which is coming up a little bit later, I'm doing it with the active goalies and only the active goalies. But there you have it. That's just a little bit of a tidbit, not really so much a series breakdown, but just a summary of the history of the Edmonton Oilers versus the Dallas Stars. Okay, let's go into the brand new poll question. And if Anders is out there, don't vote just for the sake of voting. You'll probably get a good kick out of it there, Anders. But I do appreciate Anders. He's one of my good buddies at work who is very supportive of my channel and that, and has given me many suggestions on how to improve the channel. But he likes to be a bit of a goofball too. So, Anders, don't vote if you just doing it for the sake of just going against the other votes. Okay, let's get into this right now. As the new vote, and it's basically a similar vote that I did prior to game one of the Canucks. What is your prediction of the outcome of the Western Conference Final between the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars? So essentially, it's the same format. Edmonton in 4 or 5, Dallas in 4 or 5. Edmonton in 6 or 7, Dallas in 6 or 7. So go ahead, scan that QR code. It'll take you directly to my community page. If that is something that you feel a little reluctant to do because of all the scams that are going on and all this kind of stuff, I totally get it. You can manually type in my YouTube page and then just go to my community link, and it's right up there for you to vote. I do encourage you guys to vote. I'd like to see where you guys feel and how you feel that the Edmonton Oilers are going to do. I can't wait. I can't wait. This is, what are we? We're 40 minutes out, so I'm going to have to wrap this episode up pretty soon. As far as a previous vote goes, what is your prediction of the Western Conference Final? Oops. Okay, what between the Edmonton Oilers and Dallas? I think I goofed on that. I think what it was, yeah, I end up copying and paste the same thing, but it was, the question actually was, depending on the outcome of the Vancouver series, what was the likelihood of who out of the West would advance on to the Stanley Cup final? And 67% of you guys agree that the Edmonton Oilers would advance on. 33% said Canucks. However, this was also one of those ones that had only a few votes. So it's kind of like an impartial thing. I'm hoping I can grow a little bit of magnitude on this channel and have some really good results. I've had a few good results, but some of them have been kind of a little bit on the lame side, to be honest with you. So come on, guys, support me. Make your votes in, vote on this one, and we'll go forward from there. Okay. Okay, we are going to go into the game one preview, which essentially is your lines that are going to be rolling out. And then I'm also going to dive into who are the current league leaders here as we get now into the halfway point is now going to be officially broken tonight of this playoff season. We are basically 1 month away from crowning a Stanley Cup champion. All right, so for the Edmonton Oilers, they basically, Knobloch said he's going to stick with the same exact lineup. Nugent Hopkins with McDavid and Hyman, Holloway with Draisaitl and Kane, Fogle with Ryan McLeod and Derek Ryan, Janmark with Carrick and Brown. As far as the Dallas Stars go, Robinson with Johnson and Stankoven, Marchment with Duchesne and Pavelski, Ben with Sagan and Dadonov, Fasca with Steele and Smith. When it comes to the defensive pairings, again, Knobloch's not changing anything there. Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Desharnais, Kulik with Cece. For the Stars, this Stars defensive core is crazy. You got Harley with Heiskanen, Lindell with Tanev, Suter with Petrovic. Like, what depth? What depth? And may I add, Rupe Hintz is not even playing tonight, which is another big piece that they have. So they're loaded, man. This is a loaded team. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a very tough series. As far as your goaltenders go, Skinner is going to be Behind the pipes as the number 1 with Picard number 2. Adam Henry listed day-to-day, expected to make a return sometime in this series, though. So keep an eye out for that. And for the Dallas Stars, they got a guy by the name of Jake Ottinger, who is, and I remember saying this a few years ago, there was just a subtlety about how he moved in the net that reminded me of Carey Price. I don't know, maybe I'm just out to lunch on that, but he is an amazing goaltender. A few years ago, he put Calgary to Game 7. Calgary ended up winning that series, and then we ended up taking on Calgary and defeating Calgary. That took us to the Colorado series. And Scott Wedgwood is the backup. Hack Kempa is day-to-day, and Rupe Hintz is day-to-day as well. I could see Rupe Hintz making definitely some presence in this round of the playoffs. Okay, let's go into the goal leaders as of the 23rd. Hyman is leading with 11. Nichushkin of Colorado with 9. Draisaitl with 8. Verhaeghe with 7. That was just recently updated. And Johnson with 7. So tonight we could see Johnson rise up. We could see Hyman rise up and Draisaitl rise up. There's 3 players there that could go a little bit higher up that totem pole. As far as the points go, Draisaitl has 24 points. What a crazy, crazy playoff he's having and career he's having, as he is now, what did they say? He was the third fastest player in NHL history to 100 playoff points, which is ridiculous. And the other 2 players that are in front of him are a guy named Wayne Gretzky and another guy by the name of Mario Lemieux. So it just lets you know what kind of company he's in. McDavid has 21 points. Bouchard, 20 points. Nugent Hopkins with 16. And Tkachuk with 16. I just want to touch also on McDavid here, as there's a lot of rumors that he might have some injury, and he very well could be. I think every player at this point in time in the playoffs has something nagging them, or they're ailing from something. And there's also several pitches where I've seen when he's doing warm-up skates, and he seems to have a bit of a shoulder slope. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into the pictures, but even when he was walking down the tunnel in his suit to go to the locker rooms and that, there's a little bit of that slope. So I don't know if he's dealing with something in the shoulder or not, but he's definitely not firing as many pucks on net. If any of you guys out there know what's going on with McDavid and got some information that I may not have attained yet, please feel free to let me in on that. When it comes to the tenders, Shesterkin, and again, these are active tenders and only active tenders. So that's why you'll see, despite some poor numbers by Skinner, that's why you'll see him with the 881. So he's out of the 4 active tenders, he's actually the worst. Shesterkin, 926, Ottinger, 918, Bobrovsky, 909, and Stuart Skinner, 881. Hopefully Skinner will start bumping that up a little bit and maybe just make it into 3rd or 2nd place and really help the Edmonton Oilers to a Stanley Cup. Let's hope. We can only cross our fingers, guys. We can only cross our fingers. And when it comes to the plus minus, Bouchard is a plus 10. Forsling of Florida is not a plus 19. It's a plus 9. Again, another boo-boo on my part. Tanoff is a plus 8. Ekholm is a plus 8. And Ekblad is a plus 8. And I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it, guys. Okay. Let's go into the final thoughts. And then I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to start watching the game. Let's see if any of you guys made any comments. Just going to take a peek-see-week-see. No comments tonight. On the, what would it be? Your right hand side of the screen is the first 4 games of each series. I do have Florida and New York. I should have actually updated that because Florida now leads that series 1-0. That was a pretty good game and such a boo-boo by Lafreniere in the last minutes there as he ended up putting the puck into his own net. That doesn't help, and it doesn't give you credit for a goal either. So, yeah, you can't really win Stanley Cups by doing that. Felt bad for the guy, though. Like, I mean, when you're this deep into the playoffs and you've had that long of a season, not much training, like there's so much that goes into these athletes to get to where they are. Never mind to just win a cup, but to get to where they are, there's so much pressure on them. And yeah, it kind of sucks. So anyway, the next game for the Rangers will be tomorrow in New York. And then they'll head off to Florida on the 26th and 28th. Game 1 tonight starts with the Dallas Stars on the 25th and 27th and 29th, basically every second day. And I was unable to get the if necessaries, but as soon as I get some more information on that, I will put that up and post it for you guys. Okay, guys. If you are witnessing this channel for the very first time and like the content that I deliver, please feel free to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I'm trying to grow this channel. I want to have more interactiveness, and I promise next season I'm going to do some different things. But I want to see this channel grow a little bit too. Keep me interested. Keep me wanting to do it for you. I love doing this channel. I don't do it because of money. I haven't seen one red penny from YouTube yet. But it'd be nice to, but I need a lot more subscribers. That being said, I'm always going to be here regardless because I enjoy doing this. But the Edmonton Oilers are embarking tonight on a Western Conference final. It's hard to believe. There was a time, guys, I'm going to tell you a quick story. So back before I actually let you guys go. So back in I believe it was 1990, I was a popcorn kid at the Coliseum chanting popcorn, ice cold Coke. Like I did a video actually on this. It's actually my video on my main page. And I'm not even kidding you. I was so tired after that shift, and I was waiting for my bus, and I'm up on the hill at the Coliseum there in Edmonton, and everyone's honking their horns and celebrating and so happy. And I had the attitude at that time, like, yeah, we won another cup, big deal. Oh man, I tell you, man. What is it now? 1990, 2010, 20, 30, 30 plus years now, 35 years counting. I should never have said that. I wish I would have never said that. Anyway, you guys enjoy the game tonight. Go Oilers, go.